Hi, my name is Chad Osborne. I'm the Director of High School Ministries here at Apex. In this series, we'll be talking about apologetics. And a lot of the clips that you'll be seeing, they come from a conference that we recently did called Apologia. Apologia is a Greek word that means defense. It's a word that Peter uses in 1 Peter chapter 3, where he says, always be ready to give a defense when anyone asks for the hope that you have. It's the idea here is about giving a defense, giving a reason for why you believe what you believe. So apologetics is just that. It's about giving a defense. It's not about apologizing for what we believe or anything like that, but it's simply refuting the idea that's out there that religious beliefs are illogical, that Christians don't use their brains or think things through, that we just rely on our gut feelings and assumptions and things like that. So we'll be talking about apologetics, and even though what you'll be seeing was from a high school conference, man, these are questions that Christians of all ages are really dealing with. So we really tried to tackle some of the more difficult questions that Christians face. So we hope that this is of a benefit to you.
Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish, where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you.
And there's very, very little evidence to suggest that I'll see you all again in some theme park.
Right off the bat, what's wrong with, in your opinion, with believing in a God, regardless of who the God is?
I think it's false. I think that it's a matter of belief without evidence. And as a scientist and as an educator, I like the idea that we believe things because there's evidence. There's such a lot of evidence available now at the beginning of the 21st century.
I think it would be quite nice if there was God, because, yeah, it would give some meaning to life, but I really wouldn't know. I don't think I've got that much evidence.
As you can see from the video, the belief is out there that you can't be a religious person and still be an intellectual. In order for you to have religious beliefs, you have to believe in man-made myths and fairy tales. You have to trust in your own emotions and gut feelings and the culture and society around you. Whereas the atheists have things all figured out based on because they've thought it through, and to them there's no God. But is that true? Is that true? Can you be a thinking, intellectual person and still have faith in God? Some of these scientists would say, or they're not all scientists, some are philosophers, I misspoke there, but some of them would say that they've come to their conclusions simply by logic and reason and just rationale. But the thing is, whether you believe something or don't believe something, no one comes to their conclusions through logic and reason alone. There are other reasons, like whether you're a Christian or not, it's not simply by logic. There's other factors in play, like there's personal reasons. Personal reasons, like for example, say that there's two different people and they had the very same tragic experience in their life. You know, they come from a similar background, hurtful past. One guy can respond and say, oh man, this tragedy in my life, I need to turn to God as a source of strength. I need to put my faith in God. The other person can react exact opposite. Well, if this tragedy is in my life, then there can't be a good and loving God. There's no way. So there's very personal reasons for why we believe what we believe, regardless of what our logic process was with that whole thing. There's also social reasons. Social reasons, that being, you're going to find the arguments of people who you respect and admire to be more plausible. That's just the reality of things. So the mixture of those three reasons kind of give us an idea of why people believe what they believe. The first gentleman in this video was a comedian by the name of George Carlin. He died a few years ago, but you could see that he didn't quite hold Christianity in such a favorable light. He basically boiled it down to that there's this invisible man in the sky who sees everything you do, and he has 10 things he doesn't want you to do, and if you do any of them, he's going to send you to a place full of smoke and fire and burning and all this. Now, he's missing some very, very, very important details, is he not? I mean, it's quite a misrepresentation of what Christianity actually teaches. But if that is you, if you're here and you're a skeptic, you need to know these things. You need to know, what are the reasons for God? What is the logic behind that? And you need to know, for one reason, for the sake of respect. There was a few guys in the video we showed. One's name was Richard Dawkins, another one Christopher Hitchens. There's a couple other guys by the name of Daniel Dennett and Sam Harris. These guys are known as the New Atheists. They're writing a lot of books, a lot of New York Times bestsellers. They're influencing millions of people, selling millions of copies of their books. And their premise is, not only is religion bad, because people have been saying that for hundreds of years, that's nothing new, but they're saying that even respect for religion is bad. That there's no reason to sympathize or respect any sort of religious belief. Religious people are simply just simpletons and ignorant. And I don't know that it's good. I don't see how we can live in a civil society if we can't even just respect each other. So if nothing else, if you don't come full circle with this, becoming a Christian thing, at least maybe you can walk away from this at least saying, okay, at least Christians have thought it out, and there is some logic to why they believe what they believe, and we can live with respect. Because the thing is, I'm going to disagree with a lot of what atheists have to say, but I'm going to try my best to do so respectfully. I'm not going to be condescending in any way. Now, if you are a believer, if you would call yourself a Christian, you need to know these things, because it's certain that you have people in your life who have questions and have doubts. And maybe you can be equipped with some of these answers, that when you share the good news with them, that mental barrier that they have can somehow be softened and removed to where their hearts can now be opened for the gospel. You saw in the video some guys on the street were like, well, maybe if I had a little bit of evidence for God, then maybe I might consider it. Well, if you could do that for some people that you love, wouldn't you want to do that? But another reason, if you're a believer and you need to know these things, is that you need to deal with your own doubt. We all have doubts. We do. And hopefully this weekend you can be equipped and just that your faith will be able to stand in the face of anything. And you're going to run into a lot of people who don't believe the same way that you do, and they're going to try to convert you to their belief or to their non-belief. And you're going to have these professors, and it's going to be tempting for you to look at them and say, like, oh, well, since they're so smart and they're brilliant, they must have the right view of everything. But we want to give you a solid foundation, letting you know that there is reason for you to believe what you believe. Cool?